So today I've been given access to the Piglin speedrunning server, and the goal is to try to compare it to MCSR ranked, see what it might do better and what it might do worse than MCSR ranked, and overall just kind of get a good idea of what they hope to bring in the future. Now, full disclosure, this is an early access test that I've been, well, given access to. Cublem, the maker of the mannequin mod and that sort of stuff, has given me access to try this early and just test it all out. So things are going to be unpolished, but I'd like to just explore obviously all the features in this and just touch base on some things it does well and some things that it needs work on. So in your hotbar, you have a couple options, one of which brings you to this play menu where it has ranked, casual, practice, or manhunt. Three of them I didn't bother trying because I'm in Australia and it's a closed test, so I don't think I'd even find a match, but the idea of it's very cool. The fact that you might be able to play manhunt with people worldwide soon with nothing but vanilla Minecraft is actually a really cool idea. But today I'm trying out the practice and I'm just going to kind of see each of these seed types, which I have a bit of experience with from my normal speedrunning on 1.16. So yeah, I'm just going to see if there's anything kind of missing, and we'll start with the Desert Temple. Because there's a bit of a countdown. This it's very like draft out-esque, but it allows you to kind of scout around, which is, I kind of like that idea. Like I like the idea that you have time to like look around and plan your route that you're going to take. But yeah, okay, let's just do any lag you see. This is just a common thing with playing games in Australia. Like I'm quite used to it by now. But this is one of the downfalls of playing anything sort of like server based in Australia. We're kind of like the last people to get servers, but I know Cublem's mentioned that he wants to put more servers in closer to different regions. So, I mean, maybe something that'll come in quite quickly and make it very accessible for us Aussie players. But the block placement feels really good. Like there doesn't seem to be any lag with the block placing. It seems to just be on that sort of, like the detonation of the TNT feels laggy, but not the placement. I don't know if that's a vanilla Minecraft server thing, but quite cool. Okay, so even that felt okay, despite the lag. Yeah, I mean, so far, so good. We had a seed, it was completable, the portal, and we get into the Nether, which, I mean, there was a little bit of delay getting into the Nether. That wasn't as quick as what I'm used to. Okay, we get a fort right there. That's a big fort, holy. But yeah, there was a bit of delay getting into the Nether. I should have paid attention to if the timer actually stopped while we were going through the portal, but yeah, that's quite interesting. Let's go with 30 FOV and F3. Now, while I was looking around, I realized I had to turn on the E counter in my F3 menu. I'd love to see it implemented either like forced server side if it's possible, or some sort of tutorial that tells players they need to do this. Which brings me to my next thing. It didn't actually work at the moment. So for those that don't know, basically you can use this E-ray counter to look for large spikes of entities, which is piglins in a bastion in this example, and that'll direct you to a bastion. Now, for whatever reason on the server, it doesn't work, which is very common with servers. But I'd love to see some sort of change to make it work, because without that, you don't really have any direction of getting to the bastion, which is a huge portion of speedrunning, as most of you probably know. Now, we do see a fortress. I just want to see if it actually spawned a bastion near us still, even though we can't find it. I want to see how close it spawned one, if at all. One of the key differences in this version of Minecraft as opposed to the MCSR ranked version, the nether fog is brutal. Like, if you try to look past that area in older Minecraft, you could just look down and it would skew it a little bit. Or you could do, once again, another macro and tool screen, which causes your screen to go wide, which allows you to see further into the nether fog. However, speedrunning on this newer version doesn't allow you to do that, which is, I mean, that's not really a problem with the server. That's a problem with new Minecraft speedrunning, right? Now, I'll save you guys a few seconds of watching this, but long story short, I couldn't find a bastion after searching around for a little bit. I'm not saying it didn't exist. I'm just saying it wasn't easily able to find it, as well as I wasn't able to scan for it with the E-ray. So a combination of that means that a beginner would also probably have trouble finding it if they didn't know a little bit more about it. So we'll go back to Piglin / practice. So that brings us right back to the practice thing, that's quite cool. I mean, it'd be nice to see a menu bar added, much like the MCSR one, where it's like reset seed or change seed. But the fact that I like this one, that you can pull right back out into a menu and choose a new type of seed. That's one thing that MCSR ranked doesn't have. You have to forfeit the seed, wait a few seconds, go back into another lobby or make a private room, which the private room one, this is a paid feature in private room. You don't get to choose which seed you're trying to like run and practice without paying for it. So it's really cool that he's been able to add this for free into this server. For the next one, I guess let's just try like a standard village seed. Okay, cool. We take it. We got 8 obby. No iron. But I guess we can just kill the iron golem. I want to get far enough in a run to properly judge this, but I don't want to spend so much time on it. And let's enter. All right, now we're not going to try to do the entity thing here, the E-ray. Yeah, the Nether load time is quite slow. Once again, I don't know if that's server-based or Australia-based, but that load time's quite slow. And it looked like this time the counter, I don't think stopped while I was loading, but I could very well be wrong about that. Okay, we have a fortress in that direction, but without E-raying, like what am I supposed to do here? I'm kind of just forced to use quadrants or like just fully guess, I guess, where the bastion would be. So I think that's definitely one of the lacking things at the moment. That needs to be, it needs to have a workaround of some kind, I think. Okay, well, we find the bastion here luckily anyways. I mean, there was nowhere really we could run, so. We didn't get very many pigs. That's quite odd. I feel like you're guaranteed a certain number of pigs if you do it on MCSR ranked. And I think it's way more than this. Let me just check something quickly. I mean, we'll take that for an axe, but are there even pigs below us? It doesn't seem like there is. Let's finish off this treasure out really quickly, because I'd like to see the trade rates. Notoriously, these newer versions are much worse for trade rates. Like you get far less ender pearls and stuff like that. So I'd like to see if Cublem's made any tweaks to this. Perhaps standardized trades or stuff along those lines. And if not, I'd like to know if Cublem intends on adding it. I feel like it's something that's kind of necessary, especially with a ranked mode or like 1v1ing people in speedrunning. I feel like you need standardized trades. Otherwise, there's just too much RNG for it to like actually be competitive. I know I don't suck this bad, so this is either like some Aussie ping stuff going on, which I imagine it is, but I wonder if this affects anyone else on different pings as well to the same extent. Okay, so it seems like our trades are coming to an end here. It looks as though they have been tweaked minorly in this. Now, maybe I just got a super lucky pull, but with that amount of gold, let me just see how much gold I have left here with the trades. Yeah, so we've got through almost all the gold. This is a pretty standard, like, I mean, I don't even know if you can call it a safe boomer with how badly I messed it up, but a pretty standard route that you would do in the bastion. For us to get splash potions of fire res, enough obby to make 2 portals, and we get enough string for explosives, plus the pearls, I would consider this, like, almost definitely he's tweaked the trade rates, which is good. That's a good thing, because if you're speedrunning on this version, you definitely want guaranteed to like make it to the end, right? Oh no, I'm a chud. I thought I had that. Okay, we managed to live somehow. Holy. I don't know what happened there. Should I have pillared 4? I guess I should have pillared 4. I thought 3 was safe though. Maybe I walked into it with lag. Anyways, that was looking pretty good. Besides the point of that, dude, I swear it's 3, but maybe I walked into the skeleton. But yeah, I made a grave mistake there. But besides that, it looked okay. To be honest, I was kind of thinking to myself anyways, what am I gonna do when I get into the overworld? Like, you still need, for your blind, you still need tool screen and Ninbot installed. I wonder if Cublem will have some way of like circumnavigating the need for those two things, because otherwise you're just forced to follow your eye in the overworld, right? Like, it's not ideal in any way, shape, or form. You're forced to just follow that eye. And I just realized I have no way of like getting back there, so I mean, what if we just did this though? Here's all of our stuff. Yeah, okay. It's looking like that's a bit of a lag thing. that one wasn't me. The other one was definitely me, but that one, I'm not taking blame for that one, dude. I'd just like to see like buried treasure, just to see if for whatever reason preemptive has a problem. Maybe there's some sort of like entity culling or anything like that. This is also a really weird buried treasure spot, no? Snowy buried treasure? I'm going to save you guys the hassle of watching this, but long story short, it took me about 15 minutes to realize what's actually going on. I started by using the completely wrong pie chart, which is absolutely embarrassing, but please give me a break. I've been playing Minecraft roleplay for the last 2 weeks. When I did finally swap to the correct pie chart, I realized that it's quite hard to get a spike in this version for that pie chart. Now, once I added the correct pie chart, I still had to add section relative to my F3 menu so I could look for 9Y9 when I was doing the buried treasure, which once again, I wouldn't have known how to do without having a tutorial or having done it in the past. So that's another like barrier of entry, I'd imagine. Now, after starting a new world and thinking that it might have just been me, I get attacked by these baby zombies almost immediately while I was trying to scan, and they take me out, which is something I've never had happen in MCSR ranked. So maybe there's a way to like get rid of those mobs prior. And after going through all this, I had the bright idea to just dig down at 9-9 in the chunk that I spawn in. And there you go. I found the buried treasure. So after trying it again on another seed, I kind of confirmed that this is basically just how the seeds are chosen. It'll just look for the chunk that you spawn in and see if there's a buried treasure nearby, or maybe it finds a buried treasure and then spawns you in the chunk nearby. I'm not sure how the culling process actually happens, but essentially what I confirmed is that it just spawns you in the chunk with a buried treasure, meaning all of the pie chart, all of the map list knowledge that I have, everything like that is actually quite useless. Now, I'll talk a bit more about this at the end of the video and why I think it can be either a good or a bad thing, but for now, we'll go into the shipwreck seeds. Let's try a shipwreck seed really quickly, because one of the key differences in the newer version is that shipwreck doesn't, like most ocean seeds, if not all, don't have magma ravines. So how are we going to complete a shipwreck seed, really, right? I mean, there's a lava pool, so that would be our entry there. Let's try to re-roll it and see if it's always like that. I mean, that one had no trees, which is kind of whack, but let's try another shipwreck seed here. It appears we're on the shipwreck right away. So let's see what we get. Okay, so it looks like it'll give you enough to complete it regardless. Now this is really wacky. Okay, so we have one lava there that's like flowing down it. I'm just gonna go up on top of the mountain right away and see if I can spot like where our entry would be. So unless I'm missing something here, it doesn't seem like there's an obvious lava pool that I'm gonna be making my portal in. And like I said before, no magma ravines, so I don't really know what we're meant to do to get in there. Oh, is that one down there, or is that just a mushroom? Hold on. But we're already at the 2-minute mark here, and there's no like sign of it. Maybe we're meant to go down into that cave and do it. So yeah, at the moment, I think this is a large flaw with this mod. I think the seeds are filtered. I read something from Cublem saying how he filters the seeds. I think they are filtered to have like good things. However, I don't think they're fully cherry-picked seeds like they are in MCSR rank. Now, that's a lot of work for one person to do, to go cherry-pick every seed and like figure it out in that way. So I don't blame Cublem for not having cherry-picked the seeds. But it does make the gameplay experience for somebody that isn't knowledgeable, which is quite honestly, I think that's who would benefit most from something like this, a server that you can go in, you can start it up and you can start speedrunning right away and learn how to play it. I think the people that'll benefit most from that are people who haven't installed MCSR ranked, but they see people speedrunning and they want to enjoy it, right? Now those people most likely aren't gonna know that that was a bad seed that I just got. They're not gonna know. I'm imagining what just happened with that seed is that it's filtered to have a lava pool nearby, but it's probably hidden somewhere in that cave or something, which is something you don't know until you actually run it and you play the seed yourself. That's another thing that I think is very important, is finding good seeds to practice on and stuff like that. And if that was a bad seed, I'd like some way of reporting that seed, or at least having someone inspect it to make sure it is actually a bad seed instead of just like, I don't know, me being a chud. But anyways, let's roll over to the next one, the ruin portal, and see if there's anything we can see with these. Okay, it's cool how the world, like, it gives you that 10 seconds for the world to render in, which is really good. Wow, that gave us a lot of obby, holy. We could probably have done like a way better version of that portal, but I think this one just wanted us to build a portal, to be honest, but yeah, it definitely wanted us to just build a portal like that. But okay, that one spawned us right next to it. It was completable, which is good, and we probably would have had excess obby if I didn't mess it up. So okay, we spawned right on top of the ruin portal again. I wonder if this is a lot like the buried treasure and it spawns you in the ruin portal every time, because ruin portal, you can use the same chart as buried treasure to find the location of the portal, and that's what MCSR ranked makes you do. So here's another one as well. So yeah, that's a strat I've talked about in my videos before. Like, you can use that map list to find the location of the ruin portal. You can also use it for shipwrecks as well. Okay, that's a little bit unfortunate of a spawn, that it spawns me on that magma block. Like, you can just crouch it, but it's kind of annoying that you have to. Now what are we doing about this? The chest is buried. Okay, I mean, I don't hate that that's a thing, but I don't hate that that's a thing. A buried chest. You do have to kind of learn. But once again, like, I feel like that's tailored a little bit more towards people that are newer to speedrunning. Maybe that'll be hard for them to find, so they have to like just kind of dig around. But yeah, I don't hate that. Let's just try one more. Okay, yeah, but it does spawn you right in the portal. Now, I actually think this is really good for people who are just starting out and they're like, they just want a way to practice specific seed types. Now, the thing that I think it will do is give a lot of false confidence to people who would otherwise probably not have it. Like, for someone to be like, oh, I'm really good at ruin portals, when in reality, it just puts you right next to one and gives you a lot of like good stuff. Like, if it had golden carrots in it and stuff like that, I think it might give you a little bit of false confidence to like go in and do it. But at the same time, like, that's the only way to get better. So for it to cherry pick much easier seeds or spawn you right next to the portal, I think that might actually be a good thing for this server. So just to summarize what we've seen on this server, I love the menu. I love the fact that you can just back out to this at any point and change which seed you're running, which is something that's hidden behind a paywall with MCSR ranked. I love the fact that there's different game modes that you could eventually play with people. I'm sure when the server's out of its testing phase, you're easily going to be able to find people to play Manhunt with if you didn't have them before. And I think overall the barrier to entry of this server is really good. The fact that you can just pick up any latest version of Minecraft and join this server and then play it, I think that's a really cool thing, because a lot more people will try speedrunning as opposed to have to spend an hour setting it up and still possibly mess things up. Now, some things that I think need to be added to the server for it to be viable are the actual speedrunning tactics. For example, being able to do map lists on the buried treasure or the shipwreck seeds. Having an actual entry point for a lot of these seeds is a must. You need to be able to have a lava pool to enter without spending an extra 6 minutes digging through a cave or something. So I think some form of seed vetting, whether it's like a report system from players, I think that would be very necessary for this to really thrive as a server. And ultimately, I'd like to see the entity culling and Ninja Brainbot or tool screen being put in natively to this if it's possible, without the user having to do the extra steps of installing it themselves. Now, if that's not possible, obviously, I don't know much about like the coding side of these servers, so I can't promise what should and shouldn't happen with this. I'm just saying what I think would be really cool if they were able to add it. Now, in that same regards, something really cool Cublem's been doing is working closely with the community to make this an awesome thing. So he's already confirmed he's going to bring it to other versions, like later versions. The Piglin trades have been kind of talked about with other community members. For example, it doesn't currently trade glowstone, but he's basically said, like, if we make them trade glowstone, we're now altering 1.21 trades that Mojang has developed for a reason. So let's just increase the string trades, for example, instead to 3x what they were, to confirm that you're going to get enough explosives. He's also confirmed there's going to be simple voice, so you can talk to your friends while you're playing Manhunt or do the speedruns. And he's been working closely with the community to make a notepad of things that need to be added, and then he tells you when he's actually added it to the server, which I think is just absolutely awesome, the transparency of working on this server with the community, because ultimately we're the ones that are going to be playing it in the end. Now, some people have the opinion that there's no sense playing this over something like the MCSR ranked mod, and I think it comes down to like different strokes for different folks, right? Like, I know personally when I started MCSR ranked, it was really hard to get into it and find proper tutorials that helped me through it. This is where the Piglin server could really stand out. If Cublem's able to add features like he's talked about, such as a ghost bot that guides you through a tutorial for a full run the second you join the server, I think something like that could be really big to introducing players to Minecraft speedrunning. And of course, the more players that we have interested, the longer the community stays alive and thriving. For those reasons, I think the Piglin server is an amazing idea, and I'm really grateful that I got to try it and give my input on it. But what do you guys think? Do you see yourself playing the server when it eventually releases to the public? Leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions for Cublem to add, or join the Discord, which is the top link if you want to try the server out for yourself. But as always, thank you for watching the video, and I hope you have a great day or night.